Hello, it's Heather from the Reading Mama, and today I'm going to bring you a slightly different video. I'm going to talk about reading aloud to kids and specifically choosing books for children and the problem with choosing them on gender. So I want to talk about books for boys versus girls. You might think, what leg do you have to stand on, woman? You have 7 daughters. Well, I do have 7 daughters, and not all of them are reading age. But when I was a teacher, I had mostly boys in my classroom, and I did teach a lot to that. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because there's a dynamic out there that certain books are for boys and certain books are for girls. And I don't 100% buy into it, but I do a little bit. So let me give you a little backstory. A couple years ago, we were following a homeschool curriculum, and my oldest said, I need some girl books. There's too many boy books. And these are wonderful. Robinson Crusoe, Kidnapped by Robert Louis Stevenson, Treasure Island, some of those others, great classics, Oliver Twist. They're all boy-based. And I've talked about this in some other videos, that the general rule of thumb for educators and readers and such is that boys or girls will read pretty much anything. A boy-based book, a girl-based book, they in general, if it's a good story, they'll read it. And boys generally are not going to read a girl-focused story. I believe that to an extent, but I will tell you that girls can get bogged down in too many boy books too, and boys can also still enjoy a good girl-focused book like Anne of Green Gables. And so I wanted to give you some caveats if you're trying to choose books for your homeschool or your home or for your children as gifts. I would encourage you to vary the protagonist. Get female main characters and male main characters and let them kind of feel out what they really like about it, because I really don't buy into this. It comes down to gender, because I don't think it does. I really think it is how the character is written, how the story goes. That is what drives an awesome story, because I, as a grown woman, love these stories. I have one daughter who absolutely loves this book. I had another one who didn't love it at first, but then started to love it. And so I just want to say, give them a shot. Don't think that I have all girls, so I'm only going to get books where I have female protagonists and female main characters. Do I have a lot of those? Yeah, because there's a lot more on the market, like for younger grades and things. So I have a ton of those, and I'm not going to share all of those. But I also have some that are boy protagonists, boy main characters that my kids absolutely love. Both classics and some more modern ones as well. And it comes down to giving your child the experience giving your child a chance to experience all these different points of views. I think it's Amber at Heritage Mom on social media, and she talks about windows and mirrors and how some of our books are mirrors. They reflect us and our culture and our lives and our experiences back to us. But then there are some that are windows into other worlds. And so that may be reading somebody of a different culture, maybe reading somebody of a different, a fictional world that is just completely absurd. And you're getting a different character. But I could also say it's for gender. And I don't mean this in a transgender kind of way or anything like that. I just mean that seeing things from a different person's point of view and having different experiences because of that is not a bad thing. Your children, there are young men I know locally here who have read Pride and Prejudice and Anne of Green Gables and a few other things. And was it their favorite book? Not necessarily, but did they get things out of that? 100%. They were able to get some really good nuggets of understanding emotions, relationships, and things like that that weren't necessarily in their boy-based books. So a couple things I want to show you. So I'm going to give you some boy books, some girl books, and some everybody books, okay? So like I said, Kidnapped and Robinson Crusoe are great classics. You're going to be hard-pressed to find classics with women main characters for children. A lot of them are written older, so I'm thinking, Tess of the D'Urbervilles, Jane Eyre, and not Wuthering Heights. Pride and Prejudice, those are for a little bit older girl, and they're not really conducive to read alouds necessarily, but there are a lot of great boy adventures that are great for everybody, but they do have boy main characters, so you might want to switch it up every now and then. A modern boy focused book would be like The Giver. There's so many that are boy focused, and I grabbed a couple here. Let me see if I can get them. So Spy School has a boy main character. Hoot has, well, this actually has both, but you mostly follow Roy in this, I believe. And so you have these modern ones, Gregor the Overlander. There's so many where you follow a boy main character, and they are great, and I think boys really gravitate toward them. I know they do for these three particular books. But I also know that I have children in my house who love all of these books as well. The Giver, if you don't know, is a wonderful dystopian novel. And if you follow the series, you're going to get some other gender perspectives through the series. The first one follows Jonas's perspective in his world where there is no color, there is complete control over everything, and it's just a dystopian world that he realizes there is some flaws in. And so that is a wonderful book. Who is a great one. It is a little bit more on the environmental side, but in this one, you're going to be with Roy as he tries to help save some endangered owls that are on a property, and he includes some other people in his help to do so. Spy School by Stuart Gibbs is really fun, just silliness. They are kids who become spies. I will give you a caveat that I don't let my kids read book 13 or above because of some of the content in it. It does not agree with us. But these are all books where modern books, well, modern books, I don't know if you can count this as modern anymore, but they all have a boy protagonist that my girls love and have enjoyed reading. And then there are girl books that I think can go either way. And so I have a few that are very girly right here, okay? But I think that there are lots of girl books that could go either way. And I've talked about them in other videos, so I'm not going to share. But Anne of Green Gables definitely comes to mind. Heidi, I think, has enough that it can, depending on your translation. And there's a couple other classics like that I think would be good. A Secret Garden, I think, is a good one for boys as well. Maybe a younger boy, maybe when you get to middle school age, they won't enjoy it as much when they can read it on their own, but a read aloud is good. But some modern girl books that my girls love are the Penderwicks, and we really love this series that follows 4 girls, girl family, and their summer vacation at a unique estate where they made a friend, and they have all kinds of hijinks and things that ensue. A Little Princess is obviously a classic that is well loved, that is for young girls, and A Little Princess follows a young girl who is sent to school in England while her father is off in India. Her father, she becomes orphaned through it, and I'm trying to see how I can say it without giving stuff away if you haven't read A Little Princess. She has a big imagination, and she is basically went from being a well-to-do young girl in this boarding school to now being a servant that's basically slave-like. In the thing, she's very mistreated, and yet she still holds on to her whimsy and her love for others. And I know that sounds very, very girly. Right, but there's enough funny and enjoyable moments that I know some young men who have enjoyed this book. And A Girl of the Limberlost. I really love A Girl of the Limberlost. This is more going to be older kids, but I grabbed this, and I should have grabbed Freckles because I think they're a great duology to show. They are just barely connected, okay? So Freckles, we'll just pretend Freckles is right here, takes place before Girl of the Limberlost, and they are set in Indiana, so this may be really niche because we're Hoosiers, and so bear with me, but they both show a romanticism of nature and creation, and have some beautiful, beautiful relationships that come from protagonists who are very broken and very hurt. And Freckles, Freckles is the name of the young man, and he is basically given guardianship over a plot of land that is going to later be logged in the Limberlost, which is a swampy, wooded area in northern Indiana, if you're very, very curious. And there he meets with some bandits who are trying to get the high-prized trees and get the money for themselves, but he also falls in love with a young woman. He meets some friends and realizes he can trust and count on people in a way that he never has before, and he you get a lot of, like I said, romanticizing nature. Girl of the Limberlost would be the juxtaposition of that, because in this one you follow Elnora. Same location, similar story-ish, in that it has the nature, romanticized nature love. But they're beautiful books. So you have Freckles and you have Girls of Limberlost, and you have a boy and you have a girl. And I think that they do such a great job in this classic literature that you would enjoy either for either one, as long as you like the nature romanticizing. If you are not into description and nature and learning all about those kind of things, you might get lost and you might get muddled in it, because this is very slow pace. Okay, it's a very slow pace for the story, but there you go. I think Freckles, my girls actually loved reading it aloud to them, and they love Girl of Limberlost. And I know young men locally who love Freckles, and I met a sweet old man at Jean Stratton Porter, the author of this book, at her house, who is in love with these books, and several men there who are volunteers who were just going on and on about how much they love the books. So just to show, it can go either way. And then the other thing I wanted to show you is that you can, if you have two genders like that, if you're trying to, you just let it go, not worry about it. Don't worry about what the gender is. Then find a book that has just an amazing story and go from there, okay? Find books that have great stories, and don't worry so much, is this a boy book or is this a girl book? But is it a great story? Does it motivate you? Does it encourage you? Does it show you into a new world? Does it show you a look into your current world and give you some great relationships? What does it give you? Because I think a lot of times we get hung up on this gender specific thing. Not that hear me out. We believe in two genders. Sorry if that offends anybody, but that's my personal belief. But I think that all books are for all books are for all people, okay? Because just because this has a female protagonist does not mean that there are boys who do not enjoy City of Ember. This is a great dystopian novel, and I think the other novels in the series might show others, but it focuses mostly, you get both male and female in this, but you do mostly Lena's and then a little bit of Dune Harrow's journey. And so you can do that. But here you get a boy's protagonist, main character, and he's phenomenal, but he has great relationships. The story's fun and funny and moves fast, and it's exciting. It's an escape room with literary, references and so much fun. And so that's my caveat. If you're looking for books to read aloud to your kids, for your kids, don't get so hung up on, this is a great book that all girls love. This is a book that all boys love. How about, this is a book that is beloved, okay? Find books that just draw people in because of the character, because of the storyline, because of the dialogue, because of the other aspects of story, rather than just what the gender is of the specific narrator or protagonist. So that is my little 2-cent soapbox stand for the day, and I hope that this kind of can help you if you're trying to look for gifts into the school year, gifts, books to read aloud to your kids this summer, things like that. Don't get bogged down in all that. Find books that are just motivated by the storyline, by the characters, by the plot, by the dialogue, by those different aspects that we consider great story, and not so much on the gender of the specific protagonist. So have a blessed day, and thanks for watching.